Think about the last time you walked away from a conversation with someone you genuinely liked and spent the next hour replaying everything in your head. The way she laughed a little too quickly at something you said. The way she asked a question she probably already knew the answer to. The way the conversation kept going even when both of you had somewhere else to be. You felt something in that interaction, something real. And then the moment you were alone, the doubt set in. Maybe you imagined it. Maybe she is just friendly. Maybe you are reading too much into it. Here is what I want you to consider before we go any further. What if you were not imagining it? What if those signals were exactly what they felt like? What if the problem was not that there was nothing there, but that you were not yet fluent in the language she was using to say it? That is exactly what this video is going to fix. We're going to go through 7 subtle signs she is more into you than she is letting on. Not surface-level guesses, not generic, feel-good advice. Real, psychologically grounded behavioral and emotional patterns that emerge when a woman has genuine feelings for someone but has not yet said so directly. Patterns that most men see and misread, or see and dismiss, or see and then talk themselves out of believing. By the end of this video, you're going to be significantly more fluent in this language. And fluency changes everything. But first, let us talk about why this language exists in the first place. Because understanding why genuine interest is often understated and quietly expressed is the foundation for reading these 7 signs correctly. Human attraction is almost never as cinematic as we expect it to be. We grow up watching stories where attraction announces itself clearly and dramatically. But real attraction, the kind that means something, the kind that is moving toward genuine connection rather than a temporary spark, tends to be quiet, careful, and layered with protection. And for good reason. Expressing genuine interest in someone before you know how they feel about you is one of the most emotionally exposed positions a human being can occupy. The vulnerability of that moment, the moment where you are about to let someone know that they matter to you and you do not yet know what they're going to do with that information, is real and it is significant. Most people, when they feel something genuine, do not lead with the most exposed version of that feeling. They test the water. They send smaller signals. They watch how those signals land before deciding how much more to reveal. This is not game playing. It is emotional self-protection, and it is deeply human. For women specifically, there are additional layers of context that shape how interest gets expressed. Social dynamics, past experiences, concern about how direct interest will be received, uncertainty about whether the feelings are mutual. All of these factors contribute to a pattern of expressing genuine attraction in ways that are real but quiet enough to be deniable if necessary. The result is a communication style that requires a certain quality of awareness to read correctly. And that is exactly the awareness you are building right now. There is also something important to say about what this awareness is for. Understanding these signals is not about gaining an advantage or treating another person like a puzzle to solve. It is about becoming more emotionally present, more capable of recognizing when something real is happening between you and another person so that you do not walk away from it, or worse, convince yourself it was not there. Clarity serves both people. When you can see what is actually being communicated, you can respond to it honestly rather than stumbling past it. And that honest response is often exactly what the other person was hoping for. Now, let us get into the 7 signs. The first sign is the way her attention comes back to you. In a world of infinite distraction, genuine attention is one of the most honest signals a person can send. We cannot fully control where our attention goes when we genuinely care about something. It returns there automatically, repeatedly, without conscious decision. And when a woman is genuinely more interested in you than she is showing, you'll notice that her attention has a specific direction. It keeps finding you. This looks different in different contexts, but the underlying pattern is consistent. In a group conversation, when something funny or surprising happens, her eyes find you first, not the group, not the most central person in the conversation. You, like your reaction to things, has started to matter to her specifically, in a way that other people's reactions do not. When you are telling a story, even a relatively ordinary one, She is tracking it in a way that feels different from how others are listening. She is actually present with it. She asks follow-up questions that show she caught the details. She brings something back from an earlier conversation that most people would have forgotten by now. She is not just hearing you. She is paying attention to you in a way that is specific and sustained. She also notices things about you that the average person simply would not catch. A small change in your energy. Something you mentioned once weeks ago. The fact that you seem quieter than usual today. These are not observations a person makes about someone they are casually friendly with. They are the product of sustained, particular attention, which is the product of genuine interest. There is one more dimension to this sign worth naming. When a woman is genuinely interested in someone, she often becomes more aware of where that person's attention is going. She notices when you laugh at something someone else said. She tracks, even subtly, how you engage with the people around you. This heightened awareness is not about control. It is about interest. She is paying attention to you, and so she is also paying attention to what you are paying attention to. The key distinction is between polite social attention, which is distributed fairly evenly across a group and follows the natural flow of conversation, and the kind of directed, returning, specific attention that genuine interest produces. If her attention keeps finding you in situations where it does not have to, that is not random, that is meaningful. The second sign is that she remembers things nobody else would notice. Memory in human relationships is not random or neutral. We remember what matters to us. We retain what we care about. And the things that slip away are usually the things that did not make a significant emotional impression. When a woman is genuinely more into you than she is letting on, she remembers things about you with a specificity and depth that goes beyond what normal social interaction requires. She remembers the name of the project you mentioned you were stressed about 2 weeks ago. She remembers that you prefer one thing over another. She remembers something you said once, almost in passing, that you probably do not even remember saying yourself. And she brings these things back naturally in context, in ways that show she has been holding them. This is not something people do consciously or strategically. Memory does not work that way. She is not sitting at home with a notebook of things you have said. What is happening is that the conversations she has with you are landing differently than conversations with other people land. They are being stored more deeply, retained more completely because they matter more. You are taking up emotional and mental space in her world that she may not have consciously invited you into yet. The revealing part is when she references something from a previous conversation in a way that shows she has thought about it since. Not just remembered it, but actually turned it over in her mind. Return to it. That is not what people do with information from people they are simply friendly with. That is what people do with things that matter to them. If you have ever had a moment where she brought something up that you had almost forgotten you mentioned, and you felt that small, quiet surprise of being genuinely remembered, that moment was telling you something real. The third sign is the nervous energy that looks exactly like indifference. This is the sign that creates more missed connections than almost anything else. And it is worth spending real time on because the misreading is so common and so costly. Here is the truth about genuine attraction. It raises the emotional stakes of an interaction. When you genuinely like someone, you care about how you are coming across to them. You become more aware of your own words, your own face, your own energy. That heightened self-awareness produces real physiological responses. The heart beats a little faster. Breathing becomes slightly more conscious. Eye contact can feel too intense and gets broken. Words that would normally come easily get tangled. Laughter comes out a beat too quickly or gets swallowed at the wrong moment. In other words, genuine attraction produces nervousness. And nervousness, to someone who does not know what they're looking for, looks almost identical to someone who does not want to be there. The difference between nervous interest and genuine indifference is subtle, but it is there once you know what to look for. Genuine indifference has a certain ease to it. Short answers that do not invite continuation. Body oriented away. An absence of effort to extend the interaction. a kind of pleasant neutrality that is not unkind but is fundamentally unbothered. There is no tension in genuine indifference because nothing important is at stake. Nervous interest feels different even when it looks superficially similar. There is warmth underneath the tension. A short answer that is immediately followed by a question that keeps the conversation alive. Eye contact that breaks and then comes back repeatedly because she cannot quite help returning to you. Laughter that arrives slightly ahead of the punchline because she is more attuned to your rhythm than she meant to be. A kind of electric quality to the silences that does not feel empty but feels like something is being held back. The eye contact pattern in particular is worth understanding clearly. Extended eye contact with someone you genuinely like is vulnerable in a way that can feel overwhelming before you are ready to be that exposed. So, a woman who is genuinely more into you than she is showing may actually break eye contact more frequently than someone who is simply being polite. Not because she is uninterested, but because holding your gaze feels like saying more than she is prepared to say yet. The difference is that after breaking it, she comes back. Her eyes return to you. That pattern of breaking and returning, the oscillation between closeness and distance, is one of the most honest indicators of genuine interest that exists. If you have been around someone and felt that specific quality of tension that does not feel bad but feels like something, like there is something in the air between you that neither of you has named yet, you are probably reading that correctly. If this is making you rethink a specific interaction you have had recently, stay with me, because the next sign adds another layer to what you may have been missing. The fourth sign is that she creates reasons to stay in your world. This is where genuine interest moves from passive to active. It is the shift that happens when someone stops simply noticing you and starts building something with you, even if neither of you has acknowledged that is what is happening. It begins with conversation. She starts directing specific things at you. She mentions something she just experienced and wants to know what you think about it. She asks you questions that go past the surface level that you would ask anyone. She wants to know what you actually think, what you actually believe, what you actually want. These are not random conversation choices. They are invitations to share something more real than surface social exchange. She is creating content between the two of you that is specifically yours. Then there is the manufactured proximity. She finds reasons to be where you are, not in an overwhelming or obvious way, just consistently. She happens to be available for the thing you mentioned. She reaches out with something that is technically practical, but is really just a reason to be in contact with you. The content of the message almost does not matter. The reaching out is the message. She also invests in your world in ways that are not required. She explores something you mentioned you care about so she can talk to you about it meaningfully. She watches something you recommended and comes back with genuine thoughts. She does not do this because she has to. She does it because being engaged with the things that matter to you is a way of being closer to you before she is ready to say she wants to be closer to you. There is also a quality of investment in your time specifically. When she makes time for you, it does not feel like she is fitting you in. It feels like you are a priority that she may not be fully admitting yet. Plans with you do not get canceled casually. Conversations with you do not get cut short without genuine reason. She treats the time you share as something that matters, because it does. All of this, the shared content, the created proximity, the investment in what you love, adds up to one coherent message. She is choosing you, not loudly, not dramatically, but consistently and incrementally, in ways that are unmistakable once you understand the language. The fifth sign is how she responds when something goes wrong for you. This is one of the signs that gets talked about the least and matters the most, because the way someone responds to your difficulty is one of the most honest indicators of how much they actually care about you. When a woman is genuinely more into you than she is showing, your well-being has started to matter to her in a way that goes beyond social courtesy, not in a way she necessarily planned or decided, just in the way that genuine care develops when someone has started to occupy real emotional space in your life. This shows up in very specific ways. She notices when something is off before you say a word about it. You had a rough day and you have not mentioned anything, but she asks, not with the automatic question people use in passing, with something more specific, something that communicates she has actually been watching you closely enough to notice the shift, and that she genuinely wants to know how you are doing. She follows up on the difficult things you share. You mentioned something hard 2 weeks ago, and she comes back to it without prompting, not because it is her responsibility, but because it was a real part of your experience, and your experience has become something she tracks because she cares about it. She is genuinely affected by your good news, not just politely pleased, actually lit up. She asks follow-up questions because she wants to understand what it means for you, not just what happened. Your happiness produces something like happiness in her because she is emotionally invested in how your life is going. And when you're struggling, something in her is quietly not okay either. Not in a way that makes your emotional state her responsibility, just in the way that genuine care for another person creates emotional resonance. When you are not all right, she cannot be completely unbothered. That is not a burden on you. That is what it looks like when you matter to someone. This fifth sign is often the one that people are most surprised by because it is so different from what we expect attraction to look like. We expect attraction to show up in exciting, visible moments. But this quiet, consistent care for your actual experience is often the truest indicator that something real has developed. Before we get to the final two signs, I want to pause and ask you something in the comments. Have you ever recognized one of these signals from someone and still talked yourself out of believing it? Talked yourself into thinking you were imagining it or projecting? Drop your honest answer below, because that experience is far more common than most people admit, and you are definitely not alone in it. The sixth sign is the subtle jealousy that reveals what she has not said. This one requires careful framing because jealousy exists on a spectrum, and only one part of that spectrum is what we are talking about here. We are not talking about controlling or possessive behavior, which is a different thing entirely and not a sign of healthy interest. We are talking about a subtle, often barely visible emotional response that surfaces when someone cares about you more than they have acknowledged. When a woman is genuinely more into you than she is letting on, she is going to have a reaction when she perceives your attention or interest going elsewhere. It will not usually be dramatic. It will often be quiet enough that you almost miss it, but it will be there. It might look like a slight change in her energy when you mention spending time with someone she does not know. A question that feels more interested than it should be, given that it is a casual social situation. A moment of quietness when you talk about someone else in a warm or complimentary way. A subtle withdrawal or shift in her engagement that returns to normal once the moment passes. What makes this sign significant is not the jealousy itself, but what it reveals. Jealousy of this kind only appears when something is already at stake emotionally. You cannot feel even a quiet version of it about someone who does not matter to you. The fact that your attention going elsewhere produces any kind of reaction at all is information. It means you have already become something important to her, even if she has not said so out loud. The other version of this sign appears in how she responds to you talking about other women in your life, not with hostility or overt discomfort necessarily, but with a quality of attention that is more focused than the topic seems to warrant. She is listening carefully. She might ask a question or two that seem casual, but are actually her trying to map the territory of your emotional life, specifically to understand where she fits within it. This is not something she is doing deliberately. It is a natural response to caring about where you stand with someone before that caring has been made explicit. When you notice this pattern, treat it with care. It is a sign of vulnerability, not a tool to use. The right response to someone's quiet jealousy is warmth and clarity, not strategic leverage. The seventh sign is the deepest one, and it is the one that almost nobody talks about because it requires the most emotional awareness to recognize. She starts treating your future like it is something she is already part of. Let me explain exactly what that means and why it matters so much. When someone genuinely likes you on a real and meaningful level, Something shifts in how they relate to time with you. The future stops being abstract or irrelevant and starts becoming something they're quietly imagining themselves into. Not necessarily consciously, not with a clear plan, but in the small ways that genuine emotional investment always expresses itself before it has been formally acknowledged. This shows up in how she talks about upcoming things. She says we in situations where she did not have to. She references something that is going to happen and assumes your presence in it without making a big deal of that assumption. She mentions something she wants to do someday and looks at you in a way that is really an invitation, even if neither of you names it as such. It shows up in how she invests in your growth. She encourages you when you are hesitating about something important. She believes in your capacity to do things you are not yet sure you can do. She pushes you forward in ways that only make sense if she has a stake in where you end up. People who are casually friendly do not do this. People who see a future with you do. It shows up in how she advocates for you. She speaks well of you to people in her life. She defends you in situations where she did not have to get involved. She looks out for you in ways that are not transactional. She is not keeping score. She is acting from a sense of investment in your life that has grown beyond what she has officially admitted to herself or to you. And perhaps most meaningfully, it shows up in how she protects what you share with her. If you have told her something personal, she keeps it. She does not use your vulnerabilities carelessly. She holds what you give her with a kind of deliberate care that communicates she understands the weight of what you trusted her with. Because what you trust her with has started to feel precious to her. Because you have started to feel precious to her. This is the sign that tells you something has moved past the early stage of attraction into the territory of genuine emotional investment. It is the sign that what has been growing between you has roots, not just sparks, and it is the one worth paying the most careful attention to. Now that we have covered all 7 signs, let us talk about what you actually do when you recognize them, because understanding the signals matters very little without the right response to what they are telling you. The most important thing I can offer you here is this. When you recognize genuine, understated interest from someone, the right response is not strategy. It is not recalibrating your approach to maximize your chances. It is presence, honest, warm, genuine presence. Because here is what happens when real interest meets performance. She is showing you something vulnerable and real. She is exposing something genuine about her interior experience in the careful, quiet way that genuine attraction gets expressed before it has been made explicit. And if what she receives back is a polished, strategic version of you, the asymmetry of that exchange creates exactly the kind of disconnect that makes promising things quietly fall apart. When someone shows you genuine interest, the most powerful response is to receive it genuinely and meet it with something equally real. Be curious about her. Ask honest questions. Share real things about yourself. Create moments that matter rather than moments that impress. Let what is happening between you actually matter to you. If it does, she will feel that. And what she feels from you in those moments is going to matter enormously to where things go from here. There is also something important to say about timing. Real connection takes time to become real certainty. The 7 signs we have talked about are indicators that something has already begun growing between 2 people. But beginning is not the same as established. The most valuable thing you can do when you recognize these signs is not to rush toward a defined outcome. It is to invest in the connection itself. Keep showing up. Keep being genuinely present and interested. Keep creating shared experience. Give it room to develop at a pace that feels natural rather than forced. Pressure collapses genuine connection. Consistent, warm, honest presence feeds it. And the thing that has been expressed quietly will eventually find its voice when both people feel safe enough for that. There is one more thing worth saying before we close. Something that I think is the most human thread running through this entire video. Being genuinely into someone before you know if they feel the same way is one of the most vulnerable places a person can be. The reason the signs we have covered today are subtle and quiet rather than obvious and direct is that they exist in that specific window of emotional exposure. She is showing you who she is drawn to before she knows what you are going to do with that information. Before she knows whether it is safe to say it more plainly. That requires a quiet kind of courage. And when you understand these signals, what you are really gaining is the ability to honor that courage. To see something real that is being offered to you in a careful way and to respond to it with the presence and the care that it deserves. Not with a strategy, not with an agenda, with the simple, honest recognition that something real is happening between two people who have both been hoping, in their own way, that the other one would notice. The 7 signs we went through today form a map of how genuine interest travels from the interior experience of one person toward the shared experience of 2 people who have found each other worth the vulnerability of saying so. The returning attention is where it begins. The specific memory is how it deepens. The nervous energy is how it feels when the stakes have risen. The created reasons for closeness is how it builds. The care for your well-being is how it becomes real. The quiet jealousy is how it protects itself. And the imagined shared future is where it is already going. Pay attention to all 7, not as a checklist, as a form of genuine presence with the person in front of you. And if someone in your life has been showing you more than one of these signs, more than 2, if you have been watching this and recognizing signal after signal in someone specific, then you already know what I am going to say. Do not wait too long. Show up. Be real. Let her know that you see her. Because the most powerful response to someone who is quietly signaling that you matter to them is simply, clearly, honestly letting them know that they matter to you too. That is where everything good begins. Thank you for watching this all the way through. If this gave you clarity about someone in your life, share it with someone who needs it. Drop a comment telling me which sign you recognized most. And if you want more content that goes genuinely deep on human connection, attraction, and the psychology of real relationships, subscribe because we are just getting started.